afternoon, good evening. My name is Gaz and welcome to Tekkit tutorials. So I'm going to run through some very simple things in this tutorial series and hopefully introduce and get you able to do some slightly complicated things within the world of Tekkit main. So first up, we're going to have a look at, pressing the wrong button a few times, we're going to have a look at Oars and obviously what you want to be aware of when it comes to the Oars that are available in the Tekkit world. So there are many Oars in Tekkit, in addition to the standard Minecraft ones. So you still get coal and iron and the sort of things you'd normally see, but then we have plenty more that you want to need to be using to help you in the world of your Tekkit. So with every ore that exists in the main world, you will also find an effective nether equivalent when you eventually are able to get to the nether. Now, nether ores are always more rewarding to find than standard overworld ores. So, for example, one coal ore might get you 4 pieces of coal when you mine it in the real world, and a nether coal ore will always get you more than that. In addition to the nether and the main world, you also find ores on Mars. So you can get copper and you can get tin on Mars, and you can find on the moon, and you can find copper, tin, and iron on Mars. So eventually, when you are able to launch yourself into space, you will find yourself finding more ores available in those locations as well. In situations where 2 different mods in this pack have the same ore, unfortunately they do appear twice. So for example, you'll see here that we have tin ore from thermal expansion and you have tin ore from Galacticraft, same with copper from the both. So rather than merging them together, they've kept them separate. So there is going to be more of these spawning in the world, but actually the game treats them both the same. So when you are putting them through a smeltery or putting them into your furnaces, they will produce copper and tin in the same way. Nether Quartz and Nether Quartz is the only situation where the Nether version of the ore is actually different from the overworld version of the ore. So this doesn't produce the same output. Certus and Nether Quartz are 2 very different things, and we need lots of these in abundance for some end game machines, including actually, and we need lots of Certus Quartz for an early game machine. We'll talk about in a moment. And you have things like gold and redstone and lapis and emeralds and diamonds and ferrous and uranium, which we'll need for some different machines in the future. These are useful sets of ores to look out for. So ruby, sapphire, and peridot are effectively useless for everything except either making tools or for producing sort of blocks of the above, so that you can obviously use them for decoration. But because they are quite abundant and have no other use, it's quite useful to build your tools out of them until you get to the point of having diamond tools, because they're effectively the same durability as iron tools, but they have the same mining ability as diamond tools. So they're very useful, so they can mine high level resources. And then we have some novelty ones. So there is Desh ore, which is going to be needed when you get to Mars to build some of the Desh tools and things. Cheese, which is used for, I'm going to guess, making cheese. And then these remaining ones that don't quite have their own overworld equivalent. So Yellowite again is an overworld ore that you'll see quite abundantly at certain levels, and you'll want to keep this in preparation for big reactors, because that's obviously what it's for. Pig iron, salt ore, sulfur, saltpeter ore, and pig iron. Well, pig iron's there twice, my bad. But these are ores you'll find in the nether and only in the nether. But again, they have extreme uses in the context of machines you're going to want to build. So we'll want to collect them when we can, but we'll not be using them for quite a while in this tutorial series. So we will just, fail catastrophically at this because I missed a space. But we now want to have a look at the first machines. So when you've got some basic things built, when you've got yourself a reasonable pickaxe, the first thing you're going to want to do when you find some Certus Quartz is you're going to want to start collecting it. Because the key thing that you want actually early on is not the quartz crystals themselves, but it's the dust. So this Certus Quartz dust is part of the recipe for our first and quite useful piece of kit. So this is the recipe to make the wooden gear. It is effectively just 4 sticks in a circle, gives you the wooden gear. Stone, you get from cooking cobblestone. The Certus Quartz, as you've just seen, we collect from mining the Certus Quartz ore when we find it, and then there's cobblestone. So if we grab all of this, and we'll just put it quickly into here. What we're looking to make here is a grindstone. Nice and simple. Now in addition to that, we do need to grab some sticks, and we need to put a set of sticks into an L shape like this to make a crank. Now what a grindstone is effectively a manual pulverizer. Now a pulverizer is a piece of kit you're going to want to get to eventually. So if we put some iron ore into here and put the crank in the top, and then basically you click and hold and it turns the crank. Now if we put one of those iron ore blocks into a furnace, we'd get 1 iron ingot. But if we put an iron ore block through the grindstone, we get 2 iron ore dust, or iron dust in this case. And that means that when we cook that iron dust, we get 2 iron ingots. So we're doubling our ores. And this is something you're going to want to do realistically as soon as possible to maximize your ores that you are finding from your early game sort of gathering activities. Once you've got some ores sorted out, you can start to build machines. Now we're worried about power later on, so we're not going to worry about the fact we have to power this machine for now. But we need to create machine frames, which is a combination of iron, gold and glass, which is very easy to find and make early on. As long as you're using the grindstone, you'll be able to obviously maximize the iron and the gold that you get. Once we have that machine frame, we need a standard piston, which everyone should be able to make, some of the flint, some copper, and then we need one of these redstone reception coils. And the redstone reception coil is just 2 pieces of redstone either side of a gold ingot. Now this is the recipe to make a pulverizer, and a pulverizer is going to be probably one of the first actual machines that you're going to want to build in the game. And it looks like this. And a pulverizer is very simple. Once you've given it power, put a piece of ore in it, and rather than having to stand and hold the click button down while it pulverizes it, it will automatically go through and produce pulverized iron, which is equivalent of iron dust in the sense that you put it into a furnace or you put it into anything like that, and it will cook it into 2 iron ingots. So once you've got a pulverizer, then you're going to have the ability to double any ores that you find. So it's a very simple setup, lots of ores available to you in this game. Lots of machines need different ores and different combinations of ores in order to make them, so therefore obviously we're going to want to be mining them and collecting them. Grindstone early doors, until you can get the resources together to build a pulverizer. Okay, so realistically that's the introduction to the world of Tekkit, and that's Tekkit tutorial episode 1. Simple basics behind the ores that exist. So, thank you for watching, I hope you found it useful, and if you're just starting out I hope you enjoy this mod pack, and there'll be plenty more tutorials coming very soon. Bye for now. Thank you for watching my tutorial, I hope you found it useful. You'll find a link in the description down below to the world, so if you want to download this tutorial world and have a go at these tutorials yourself, please do. You'll also be able to follow along with future episodes as I release them, and obviously I'll keep releasing new versions of the download world for you. You'll also see on screen 2 different images or icons that represent the available tutorials coming soon. Please vote in the comment section which tutorial you would like me to release next, and obviously depending on how many votes a certain tutorial gets, I will release that tutorial in the next in sequence. All tutorials will be released eventually, but it's just which ones do you want next, and I will listen to you as the viewer and release tutorials in that way. Also, if you have any other specific tutorials you'd like to see, please make sure you comment those below as well, and I will look to incorporate those in the future release schedule as well. Alright guys, thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, and I will see you again soon for a new tutorial. Bye for now.